Welcome back. I'm Sam Hedden, and I have a very special guest that we will be interviewing today. Her name's Antonia Felix. She's local native to Minnesota. She's an author, educator, and a musician, and I have the pleasure of being able to talk to her. She has 22 books out. She's been on the New York Times best-selling list. Well, I have to ask, you've obviously written about some amazing women, some amazing gentlemen. Personally, my favorite's been Harry Connick Jr. So just, if you're out there and you watch this, saying, it's fantastic. Have you got to meet any of the people you've written about? Did you get a chance to ask them what they thought or if they've read the work that you've written?
I have not met any subjects to interview them for the work, and for various reasons that are totally understandable. And I really like the process of doing a very independent job anyway, and bringing in a lot of other voices, all of these interviewees, to paint a portrait of that person from many perspectives and have it very objective like that. I really like doing work like that. But in some cases, I've been able to meet the person afterward.
Right.
Harry Connick Jr., a very early book of mine. I got to meet him on the set of Good Morning America in the ABC studios in New York one day, because I was there to meet someone else on that show for a little meeting afterwards, and I realized that Harry was one of the guests that day. So when the cameras stopped rolling, I introduced myself to him and had a really nice chat, and he was so charming and so kind. Of course he was. And he said that his whole family was so happy about the book because, believe it or not, they had never kept a scrapbook. And here he'd been performing since he was 6 years old.
Wow.
And had all of these events in his life already, and so much success back then. This was in the mid-90s, I believe. So he said, yeah, my family just loves this book because now we never had pulled any of this stuff together. So that was very nice. It was very gratifying.
Well,
right?
that's good. I think that's fantastic. It's nice that they think that's not just valuable as a book, but valuable to their family, obviously.
Yeah.
And that must feel really nice that they're like, thank you.
That did feel nice. That did feel nice.
So you independently work. Being an author, I would imagine that your days are pretty flexible, except you seem to do interviews and teach and sing. What's a typical day like for you? Like, do you wake up and you're like, sounds like a good day to like go out and rule the world, or maybe just drink some tea and warm up with a blanket? So I have to, what's a typical day like?
Well, you know, it's interesting to be self-employed, predominantly self-employed, I should say. There are times when I'm teaching on a regular schedule, but you learn how to really discipline your time, because most book contracts for commercial publishers are tight. The schedule for handing in that final draft is tight, tight, tight.
Right.
So when I'm in the midst of a contract and a project that has to be delivered by a certain date, I know how long it takes me basically to do one chapter. When I finally have all my resources, when I've done all the interviews and transcribed all of that and have all of the research organized, I know how long it takes to do each chapter, and I have to keep to that schedule.
Right. And
usually it's so tight that, honestly, I will be working 18-hour days.
Wow.
For a period of months. It's grueling. It's really grueling. And there's not much else you can do, but sometimes you have to do other things at the same time too.
Right.
And you have to try to get some sleep. So during those periods, that's tough. That's really tough. There's nothing glamorous about that. The writing it's a grueling thing. But when I'm between projects like that, I'm doing other kinds of writing, and I'm doing editing. I'm doing some ghost writing for people, which is really interesting. And but just on a day-to-day basis, when I'm not crazed with a deadline, I do like to relax in the morning. It's the time when I like to do some casual reading, you know, and with a cup of coffee or three, and sit out. I live out in the country for the first time in my life, and I really enjoy it. we have this front porch and glassed-in porch, and I love to sit out there and listen to the birds and have my coffee and just have a lot of quiet time in the morning. And I like to settle in and watch a couple TV shows with my husband in the evening, late at night when we're kind of done with a lot of other things. And so the day is mostly about work. It really is. And that's just the way that it's worked out, you know. I haven't had long breaks or anything, but most people haven't, right?
Right, right. Well, that's got to be a good sign, though, because you keep getting projects. That's great. Speaking of projects, your newest one that came out October 1st, we actually have on the table here. Did you want to give us a little bit of insight into this book? Because you were telling me and my producer a little bit about it, and it's kind of interesting when you actually got the project.
Yeah, it seems like kind of a step away from writing biographies of politicians.
Right.
But this book about Notre Dame de Paris, I got the idea for it, of course, this past spring when there was the tragic fire, and I was at my desk watching that on CNN and on French TV, and it was so devastating. I mean, it was devastating for everyone who watched that. I've been to this cathedral many times and over the years, and it's a very special place, of course, and I love it very much. And I thought, with this fire, what's going to happen next? How are they going to rebuild? What's going to happen? And I thought, I would love to write about the cathedral, because I've read about it over the years. I've read what other people have written about it, and a little bit about what that Gothic architecture was about. All the symbolism is so fascinating. And of course, medieval France is a fascinating historical subject. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to just delve into that and write about the cathedral? So I wrote up a little proposal that I sent to my agent, and we got a deal right away. So that was another challenging deadline, if I could put it that way, because we wanted to get it out for the fall, for the holiday shopping season. And my wonderful designers, the book designers, Night and Day Design in New York City, who I've done other projects with, they did such a beautiful job finding the photographs and pulling everything together into one beautiful commemoration. So it was fun to work with them again. That's
Amazing. And I think that that's historically a very fun and interesting project to get to go look at.
Are they attempting to rebuild? Do you think they'll be successful?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I don't think that they would let that, no way.
Yeah.
No.
It's a you know, the cathedral is in a vulnerable spot, though. They're trying to shore it up because they've had engineers tell them that if they get real high winds over a certain mile per hour, the whole thing could just collapse. Because you need that roof to keep everything together. So they're working hard to
figure out some engineering way to get that to work.
Really, they have to get the structure intact first before they decide exactly. It looks like they're going to restore it to look exactly the way it was.
Okay, well that's good.
There were a lot of plans for some very creative ideas, but they're probably going to
stick with the Gothic architecture,
the same spire and everything.
So I guess my last question that I want to get to is...
Oh no, we're going to be done already?
Do you have any big projects? Are you working on a new project that we should be looking out for? Can you tell us? Can you not tell us? I don't know how that works.
Right now I'm writing co-writing the academic book, and for an academic publisher. And that's my main writing right now, and doing some really interesting editing projects for a couple of people for their books, trying to help them find a publisher for their books, with their helping them with book proposals and things. It's always fun for some great people. Otherwise, as far as the writing, that's it right now until I come up with another topic for perhaps a biography. I'm not quite sure. It's in It's just in the cooking stage, you know. Some person is probably going to pique my interest in the future, or some topic, or some event. We'll see. But right now, it's really been fun to focus on this book about principal leadership for racial equity, and to be diving back into all of that. It's really good.
Well, I'm really glad you were able to make it. I'm really glad that this worked out. I'm excited to get to know you more, and I'm excited to read more of your work.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
it's great to meet you too. I really appreciate this. It's fun. It's been fun.
Thank you for viewing. I'm Sam Hedden with producer Andy Watson, and now you know Antonia Felix.
Or you can do it your way first, and then you can do it my way. I mean, we'll just see which is better.
Shut up.